Hello everyone, my name is Professor Khaleed. Welcome back to Journey Through the Colonial Archives, Episode 6. Last episode, we examined the East India Company Charter of 1600, the document that established the corporate template: private profit, sovereign authority, military force, legal immunity. We followed that template across the Atlantic to Virginia, and we followed the document trail to the moment when the importation of human beings became the fastest path to land ownership in America. This is Episode 6, and the documents tell a story that most American history textbooks have never told. In 1618, the Virginia Company issued what historians call its Great Charter. It formally instituted the Headright system. For every person whose passage to Virginia a planter paid, that planter received 50 acres of land. Read that document carefully, and the logic is brutally clear. The charter did not create slavery directly. It created the economic incentive that made slavery irresistible. The document rarely says what it does. It says what it authorizes. And what the Great Charter authorized was a system in which human importation and land acquisition were part of the same transaction. Connect the documents, and the entire picture becomes visible. A planter imports 10 people. He claims 500 acres via the Headright. He cultivates tobacco on that land. The profits buy 10 more people. He imports them, claims another 500 acres, and repeats. Within a generation, the wealthiest planters in the Chesapeake, families whose names still appear on American university buildings and government institutions, controlled tens of thousands of acres and hundreds of enslaved people. Let that sink in. The solution was already in place before Bacon's Rebellion made it clear that a system that relied on white indentured servants was not sustainable. In 1662, the Virginia General Assembly passed a law that would reshape the legal architecture of American slavery permanently. The law declared that the status of a child followed the status of the mother. In Latin, partus sequitur ventrem. Follow the implications through the Headright system, and the logic becomes devastating. An enslaved woman was not just a laborer. She was a biological asset that produced both labor and more land. Every child she bore was automatically enslaved and automatically claimable for another 50-acre Headright. The planter who owned her received the child's labor and the land in a single transaction. The charter gave the colonial legislature the authority to pass that law. The Headright system gave planters the economic incentive to exploit it, and the Royal African Company, chartered by the Crown in 1672, supplied the human beings the system required. The corporate template had found its most profitable application. It's all in the archive. The Virginia Company's Great Charter of 1618 is publicly available. The 1662 Virginia hereditary slavery law is publicly available. Read them alongside each other. Follow the trail from the Headright to the plantation to the racial wealth gap of the present. The documents are not difficult to find. It just requires the willingness to do so. That's one reason the system has always had an interest in keeping people distracted from the evidence of how it was built and why. From Zurara to the Papal Bulls, to the Berlin Conference, to the Royal Charters, to Headright and the Virginia Act 12. Our next episode follows the paper trail to its logical conclusion, the iron triangle of land, labor, and law that the planter elite used to build a permanent political monopoly, the 1705 Virginia Slave Code, the legal paradox at the heart of American property law, and what all of it tells us about the world we live in today. I'm Professor Khaleed. Join me next time on our journey through the colonial archives.